So we'll start with the short mandala offering on page 8 of the main prayer book. Sajin Joshin So Yeah. Na Sing Cha Jetsu Lama Ke Na Ki Cho Ma Yen Sen Cho Sing Sa Idam Purana Mandalakam Niryataya. Angye Chodang Soki Chognam La Jang Chobado Dakni Kyapso Jing Dagi Jonyangi Beswanam Ki Drola Bandra Sangye Dropa So Sangye Chodang Dagi Chognam La Jang Chobado Dakni Kyapso Jing Dagi Jonyangi Beswanam Ki Drola Pancha Sangha Dropasho. I take refuge until I'm enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my merits of listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha to benefit transmigratory beings.
농년인지 정도주변 너무 제제 선생 간직 Okay. So today we are going to do chapter 9. So chapter 9 is very precious because as you can see, the first shloka, which the kind and the great Shantideva, how he start with the verse saying that so all the rest of the five perfections is taught by Buddha for the reason and that we can have a stronger practice of the wisdom. Can you please read the verse so which will be better?
Sure. So in the wisdom chapter, the first verse, all these branches of the doctrine, the enlightened sage expounded for the sake of wisdom. Therefore, they must cultivate this wisdom who wish to have an end of suffering.
But within only this verse, thinking of that is so powerful because there are so many practices, but then the Buddha or the Shantideva and all the other great beings, they won't say all other teachings are for that purpose, only this purpose. But on the wisdom level, especially this emptiness, then Buddha himself said that, and then all the great practitioners and masters, they always stress or they talk about this. For all this reason, so why all this teaching is for that purpose. The purpose is not other than the knowing the emptiness. Let me ask you a question. So why not bodhicitta? Why emptiness? Did you get the question? Kind of, or maybe better version. 제가 야라 대다 탐지 투비 싫어고 돈도 송부르서 마도지게 야라 대다 탐지 전주심 계비치도레스 송고면도스 야라 대다 탐지 아니 돌도는 사상제 고방 토베야레스에 계송고면도스 야라 대다 탐지 아니 지기 장반 영지제 지도레스 송고면도스 tarvatabia chidore sungomedus. Tuni dobe tabichidores. Tapa kadugoran chik sungodus. The karichin series.
So as you can see in the verses of the wisdom chapter, that the Buddha taught all other branches of the practices for the purpose of wisdom emptiness. So he didn't say all the purpose of the bodhicitta or attaining enlightenment or practice of loving kindness, but straightforward. The Buddha said for the purpose of emptiness. Why?
Anybody who wants to answer that? Okay. Not
No, why he talks about the emptiness, but not other bodhicitta, not about the enlightenment, saying for the purpose of understanding emptiness, Buddha taught all the previous chapters in Shantideva's text.
Okay, it is more like here saying in here it says up to now all the Buddha's teaching is all the Buddha's teaching. Okay, good. If you have a tape, I will just put it here. Because okay, so all the Buddha's teaching is taught in order to understand one thing very clearly. That is not other than to know the emptiness. Okay, that is you can see many times, but you will never see one single word saying all the teachings of the Buddha is taught for to achieve bodhicitta. In order to achieve liberation. That's the question. Why not? Why not? Okay, now a little bit clear? Okay, yeah. Good.
There can be no true pacification of suffering without wisdom.
Good. Okay, good one.
Almost. Which I think that the other 5 paramitas is for purification and for accumulation of the merit, but with emptiness is the only thing that will totally wipe out ignorance, and ignorance as well as making lack of self-cherishing thought.
Okay.
Yes. Just from reading Shantideva, the first 5 paramitas, up to there seem to be talking about conventional existence and suffering, how to experience overcoming that by your practice of purification. But the wisdom chapter teaches you about the other part of reality, the ultimate truth, which shows you what conventional reality is empty of. Like a mind guide.
Okay.
I'm not sure what else to add, but if we're looking at like Chandrakirti's text and the explanation of the 5 paths, to enter, into the Bodhisattva path, one needs bodhicitta, right? And then if one starts earlier with bodhicitta, then one, by developing the perfections, when one gets to wisdom, one is able to then sort of have the ability to overcome the knowledge obscurations. And that would be a quicker path to enlightenment rather than starting out with an understanding of emptiness to begin with.
Anybody? One more, then I will give my idea. Anybody else? Good. So, okay. As now I'm kind of acting as a teacher, so I cannot give you a full mark because 100 to 100, the good teacher will never give. Like always give like 99 point something and 98. So that's I'm trying to do. But you all did very great. So now, in my opinion, whatever you say, it's very close. Like I don't have not so much to add there. But one thing definitely I will say, what Shantideva is trying to say here is, without the wisdom, you try all others, starting from generosity to the concentration, whatever kind of practice you do, this will only give you the pleasure into the samsara. It is more like if you go directly to the Chandrakirti's entering to the middle way, there he says, wisdom is like a brother who has eyes. And then the rest of the five remaining parameters, perfections, are like blind brothers. So what does that mean, blind with eye? This means whatever what you do, all starting from the generosity until the concentration, whatever you do, this will just lead you to the pit, where it's not other than samsara. So now, when we should do a practice, that practice is something like even doing. So in order to get out from the samsara, you use all the five remaining parameters. Then this is a different effort. Otherwise, we've been doing every single practices every time. We've been doing this, whether it's with such a great intention or not. We love doing all sort of practices. Generosity, we love generosity when somebody gives you, but when you try to give somebody, that it's very limited. But still, you appreciate it. And then concentration. Most people loves concentration, saying like, leave me alone. That is a concentration, right? So we do have this limited practices. But now, the reason here we're saying the brother, we should have a brother who has an eye. That means that it is only the wisdom. So that's why 9th chapter becomes so important. That's for that reason. So even when Chandrakirti start talking about emptiness, then especially he
commitment for composition.
Commitment for composition. In the beginning, he did in the first chapter, very short. But in the middle of the beginning of the 6th chapter, he did very profound and special. And he said, now I will tell you exactly what the Nagarjuna has in his mind. That is his confidence. And he did it. Sometimes we write something like very, the intro is so good. But then the points and the supporting points are so weak. So Shantideva and the great Shantideva and Chandakirti and Nichigyore. Kasa.
Buddha
Buddha
Palita
Palita, right?
or Sangyekang.
Right. These three are known as the Kasa Shingde Suji,
Trailblazer.
the trailblazer. It's good. Okay. So why we say trailblazer? Does that give you any kind of like meaning? Good, good. So what does the trailblazer do? It's more like, I think it is not carrying the word of Sulje.
Opener of the system.
Already
Creator
path
of
is
the
there.
system. In Tibetan, Zolje, literal translation.
So the path is already there. But then if somebody didn't walk or you didn't use for a long time, and then it's kind of lost. But then here comes the what's that?
Trailblazer.
Trailblazer, and then opens it up again. Then it makes so much easier for the third and fourth vehicles to come much easier. So that's what the after the Nagarjuna, and there was quite a gap between. So then there was like, what is the real intention, or what is the real understanding of the Nagarjuna? There was a big debate. So then Nagarjuna, after this, Chandakirti, Buddha Palita, all these three great masters did kind of a
Specialized.
specialized on the Nagarjuna's work. So there in the commentary of the Nagarjuna, the Lama Je Tsongkhapa's commentary on the Nagarjuna's root of wisdom, in there he made a special homage to these three great beings. Okay. So now from today, whenever without any kind of having a motivation of little understanding, emptiness, then you have to make sure to say to yourself that whatever I have done, all these practices, that will, whatever this merit that I have accumulated, that is definitely going to ripen only in samsara. Can you say this? 100%. Do you feel something like that? Is it understandable? Was that? So from today, not having a little bit understanding of emptiness or having a motivation of emptiness, then whatever activities what we do or what we have accumulated kind of a merit that we have God. We have to bring the reason and the logic, and then to the conclusion, and it's to tell yourself this is only to be ripened only in the samsara. Only. Even you say mantra, okay? Even you do Ch, okay? Even you do shamatha, whatever you do, even doing lots of great works, the rest of your life you are devoted to others people's to help others, whatever, without having a motivation, setting the motivation of emptiness. And now with this teaching, you have to decide, you have to make a decision. That is only going to ripen only in samsara only. Why? The reason is very clear, saying we only have a practice the brothers who are the blind. That's what I said before. The brother who, the 6 brothers, the one only who has the eyes to see is the wisdom only. So that is the takeaway. The reason saying like with the eye or blind or something. So, and then it makes a kind of very clearly, and then you will think each and every time you will put an effort to know little by little, how to get out of samsara. And even there is a big debate that saying like it could be quite confusing for you, but keep this in your mind, because in the Chandakirti's I think on the 3rd chapter, entering to the middle way, saying that one of the worst and the negative affliction is the anger. So this, when anger comes out, it will definitely going to destroy what you have accumulated lots of merit. In 1 second, it will destroy the eons and eons what we have collected this merit. That is so powerful, hard to believe. So then there is a debate saying, whatever we have accumulated merit, which we have the motivation or the simba sejur, simja sejur. Old sinin kyanzasto.
Dedicated to the Dua.
No, dedicated sina dilongwa tche, diba?
Simba the seized.
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 No, they are seized by the emptiness with this kind of practice, and then doing all the virtue which is seized by seized in the Simba, okay, seized by the emptiness. Some says that will not be destroyed. Still there's debate, but then this becomes a big debate whether can the anchor destroy that or not. This will be good debate to debate on. What does that mean? Why is so reserved? And first of all, we don't need to go so far thinking about eons, past and future life. We don't need to go there. What are the biggest reason that there is a sign in this life that what you felt, that having the anchor towards somebody that damages so many I don't know,
Merit.
the
Merit.
merits or relation. And we are not just talking about just damaging a relation only, but saying like how it damages so powerfully. Can you give me answer on that? This is our own experience, so we need to prove it to ourselves, because we are not the kind of quoting Buddhas or Chandakirti here. We have to quote your own experience, that we should not hide it, just bring it up. Okay, anybody? Oh, everybody wants to hide it, huh? Just kidding. It is 100% sure. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Share an experience of anger where I felt extremely humiliated afterwards when my husband complained about me and said what was wrong. And I was so angry, and then I realized he was right.
Okay.
And I felt very ashamed. But it took a long time for me to let go of that anger. And I realized that that was really holding me back. And then afterwards, it was better after I realized it.
That's one point here.
From the chat, self-grasping is the strongest when we are angry.
Self-grasping.
Self-grasping is the strongest when we are angry.
That's what 100%. Yeah. I think even you say, I forgive him. Okay. You say, okay, what I did, I feel so sorry. And then you give a hug, you went to party together, and it looks like everything goes very, very well. But just having a smaller conflict in maybe after a few months later. And then you don't need to go like exaggerate such a big thing. Normally, Alex would say, don't make a scene out of that. So we make such a big scene out from this because the seed is so there. That is the clearest proof, evidence that it has kind of a damage so deeply inside us. Otherwise, you being honest to yourself, like I forgive him. And there should be no more now. You just wrap up. It's like a computer. You have something in your what's it called, recycle bin, and then you said you want to delete it. Yes, boom, finish. But then in the computer, there's no more. We kind of think like it's gone, but it's never gone. It will be always there. Even that guy did just a little wrong thing, and then this becomes it would be always there. And it is very, very, very hard to go. Sometimes in the near future, in the future lives, you might bump him into a subway. And then immediately when he looks at you, there's so much anger already. But the both person does know, the people don't know what is the main. Why hate? There's so much hate. Why people hate? So ultimately there is so much the broken karma is there, which is very hard to. I think the Igandi to
feel this whole. So hard.
So that proves it has the anger only has the strength to go that 动静不了 to go this deep.
The anger can go as deep as it is, so profound that it will still be there, although you forgive someone, thinking that, I'm done with it, but the seed is there and it will trigger again.
And then maybe we don't need to think much about it for eons and eons. This is quite good enough to understand. Do you have something to add on?
Yes. Now that it's become a confession, I think, but I realize that it comes back so easily, but in a smaller form than how it used to be. But the seed of it is always there.
Yeah.
It's this. I recognize it now as a self-cherishing mind, and it takes, even recognizing it takes a long time. And even though we discuss how we're going to work with it, it's still there.
Yes, of course it is there. That's why the Shantideva said in the 6th chapter, the most powerful negative emotion is not other than the anger. And then opposite, he said, he's so clever. He said like, well, and then what is the greatest virtue is not other than patience. So clever. Even I can say that he said it very fast. You go ahead.
Self-superiority.
What's self-superiority is correct? Possibility is there, but I don't think it is necessary. Because even you don't know a person very well in this life, and then somehow his behavior or his way of talking, his way of looking, that can be very annoying to you. Maybe it's only his kind of way. His personality could be something like that. Personality is correct. But then we feel like, oh, I don't like this person's way, the smiling, and then the way he sits, and then the way he looks at me, it looks so creepy. We go that. Time to time we say this. To be honest, we say that.
Isn't that a form of feeling superior?
Not, I think we can still discuss it. Maybe for that's what I'm saying. There's nothing like I'm better than that guy, but it's more like that guy is not respecting me, or it's not easy for me to digest. So it's nothing much like I'm better than him. It's more like, if it's more like superior thinking, it's more like there's some kind of a comparison, comparison. But there's nothing comparison at the moment. It's more like it's more like you are in this kind of this way we can say you are the self-centered. Because why we self-centered? If somebody says good thing to you, and then you're being, oh, that person is so good. And if he says like a good, he starts saying like a bad thing about you, whether its motivation is bad or good, I don't know. But when it kind of you sound it's bad to you, then you feel like, I know that guy. He's not a good from the beginning when I saw him. We make this 100%. We do that. So it is more like that kind of anger. The more it's more like it kind of proves that you have so much kind of a expectation, and that you feel like so much grasping towards you. That's why we call anger is the one of the example that you are attached to yourself, cling to yourself so much. Sorry?
Of self.
Yeah. But if you ask that person, does everybody has to be nice to you? And then everybody says, no. And then somebody says bad to you, then it's like, why? Why he can do? And what you just made a kind of position.
But Che, isn't that also a misconception of self?
Conceptual.
Of self. We think, oh, that person's so nice to me. Oh, this person's not good to me. I don't like that person.
Yes.
Oh, again, this is a misconception of
That's
self.
it. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. Good or bad. Yeah, you have your own kind of way of thinking, and you are locked inside. And then it's really funny, but you trying to be honest with others, but deep inside, you are not honest like the way you present. So that's why I love the word we say, don't make this thing personal. I like it. This is a very good teaching. Yes, we are making it so personal. So this is I don't think in a Tibetan we use this way saying. In English, you already have this special lineage of saying.
먼저 배워야 됐을라. 난자인다.
네.
난자지 싶었어.
다티 삼로마다 유샤세 마도 지게 디 교랑기 딜이야 술도니 진고에 개요 말스 큰신 제고에 개요 말스 디 교랑리에 게르기 디냐사 제고에 개요 말스 그러봐. It's very good. Yeah. 지혜장 같다. 딱 가서던 게 라트다 탐지는 투비 시럽 전도선 뒤치는 동에다 뒤치는 동에다 10월은 되게 시럽지 다디만 또지 로셔나 제를 라신주 코비 동에디 녀월 10월 되베 대코나니 또베 시럽지 버체베 저 In here, I'm reading the commentary by the Geshe Rinpoche. So in there he says, some people say, Yala Teta, the Yala de
branch.
the branch, the branch is recognized or comment. They made this commentary by saying that from the beginning, first chapter, second chapter, third chapter, fourth chapter, until the 8th chapter, all this, but the sixth chapter until the 7th chapter, it is yala teda tamjini sherabton sombras deshijagudos inayangs didunde remendos dir dos remendos 디 송야디 아니 짐바 추름 써봐 준주 삼대 드자 탐제 아니 디스나 야도스 어디 송샤.
Although Rinpoche explaining from the commentary by Geshe, indeed called the Great Commentary, Geshe Rinpoche was saying, although in the verses is read like all these branches or all the previous chapters were actually with intention or sake of wisdom, but when you think about all these branches or all these chapters, we shouldn't think about the chapter 1 to 8. Maybe we should think about it from the generosity to meditate, equipoise to the first, fifth perfection chapters were taught instead of understanding or going into wisdom chapter.
Oh, teacher. So in order to know more, you have to study this. Because Geshe Rinpoche, he is also known as the heart son of the Lama Je Tsongkhapa. So every time there is some kind of a some people might make a commentary, Javakashi, any Tanati Inshashajila, the Geshe Rinpoche, Je Rinpoche, Kiru Rinpoche, Tumo Maybe Kejote, Yang Deshi di Jabaina, Javadas Chagmedu, Tele di Jabaina, Ya, Jumsend Jabape, say we should Zangsun.
So one of the unique approach, both by Geshe Rinpoche, Kedu Rinpoche, and for that matter, Lama Je Tsongkhapa, when they are defining and explaining the teachings, and when there are areas they feel either need more explanation or have some doubt, and they don't rigidly follow the previous explanation, but rely on the reasons and logics. They provide their own versions as well, and they take the freedom to provide their own version. As this is very unique among the Geshe Rinpoche, Lama Je Tsongkhapa, and the Kedu Rinpoche's commentary.
And then I also got an opportunity to read some of the works of Longshen Ramjamba. Oh, the way of the explanation and wherever the commentary becomes quite, the root is not that clear, and then these great masters, they will show their own skills to make it much more available or to more clear this hidden point, accessible. So also these Lama Je Tsongkhapa and Longshen Ramjamba and Sajapundita, those three are known as the three Manjushris. So there should be a reason why they are called like this. So yeah, so it's great. So then that dinaro ti ichinan dungel ta shivaran debe shirabges. Ta ti ichinasuna ti ichir sayade. Ani jimbadang tsurimda sobala soba tadala. Ani koale di shirab di patten bayina. Ani koale kebar chibi gyuitang shirab di yobayina. Ani jimbadu tsurimne sobadu zoga karsagore 퍼진 축구를 실업도 냠도 자는 조합이나 아니 코알레 타르바체 받아 아니 딘지그 소놈디 코알레 타르바체 비고 소놈지 당 아니 초사 집장치에 뒤도 전배 아니 10월 되베스 가리 10월 되버스도 요모가 10월 되베 티주도 아니 실업게 그래스다 실업을 깨스도 전배 전주 심 깨세버나시 실업대야 깨고르스 갸깨고세야디 깨세야디 말아주 귤을 깨고 계제데 말에 대한 전주기 셈 깨세버나 신지 전주기 셈 깨버다냠도 아니 실업대양 냠도 진바다 추림도 파 자르지 아니 전주기 셈 깨버니 파 갸깨고를 했지.
So Geshe is explaining that without the practice of wisdom, the other five perfections, such as generosity and discipline, they become, pretty much merit for merit that will ripen and that will become, limited to the samsaras, luxury. But then when you apply the wisdom, to these previous 5 perfections, such as applying wisdom to the generosity practices, applying wisdom to the discipline practices, then that merit directly become the causes to free us from samsara. So that merits go beyond this samsara or marriage. And thus, as the verse is saying, those people who are who wish to free themselves from samsara must generate the wisdom. Rinpoche is emphasizing when we talk about bodhicitta, we say generate bodhicitta. Likewise, when we talk about wisdom, we can here say let's generate wisdom in order to free us from samsara.
I think it will be better more expand, right?
Generate or expand.
Expand.
Let's expand.
Okay. 다되네 군주 당에 전담대 되는 demban이 주듯
It's our
디자와들 너지 already lost.
So the second verse goes, relative and ultimate, these the two truths are declared to be. The ultimate is not within the reach of intellect, for intellect is said to be the relative.
Now this is the when we talk about two truths in India, Indian masters, in Tibetan masters, they have such a great debate whether there are two truths or only one truth. So everywhere we go, there are two truths. But then, as we talked in the past few days ago, we talked about two truths. But then also, this is where now we are at, actually. So, so when we talk about truths, actually, let's talk a little bit about what is truth in general idea. What is truth? So, can you give a definition of what is truth? Okay, nobody.
The opposite of ignorance.
What's that?
The opposite of ignorance.
Opposite of ignorance. Okay.
Is not, I mean, as is, as the reality is.
Okay.
The truth.
How the things are, or things, how things really exist. Okay, they really are. And then opposite of ignorance. Yeah, there's relation.
Seeing reality as not the way it is.
Okay, yeah, there's a little bit of going together, these two. Okay, so let's say how to find that's true. So how things really exist. How do you find that? Like for on the relative level, it is easy saying like, oh, these people say he's not good. Maybe he's not good. Or you have to really find out he really did this or not. So So relatively, when we don't listen to the whole world says he's bad, but then you have to check that he did this or not, and if he is not haven't done anything wrong, then he say he's true, Silve. He's true, and the others are false. On a relatively, okay, the kunzukan Silve.
Right.
On the relative level, it's okay. But now here we are talking about ultimate truth. So on the ultimate truth, can we say like this? I don't think so. On the ultimate level, we will never ask. I'm going to give you a hint. Nobody is going to say, where am I? Who am I? Where is this cup? If you try to say this outside of this room, your door is only open for one place. So that means you're asking kind of a different question here about the truth. It's not really talking about the truth, normally what we are saying. It is one kind of truth we're saying. First, you need to realize that what you've been seeing full time and you're believing, there's something wrong in there. There's something wrong with you. In the whole world, they say, this is wrong, that is wrong, and there's nothing wrong deep inside how I think about myself, how I recognize myself. That is never a concern. You are the only observer. You are the one who makes kind of a judgment. It's never been like asked, am I deluded? When these people without any dharma practice or understanding, a little bit of no understanding on emptiness, am I deluded means something else, isn't it? Maybe you are high. This is more talking about, even we think we are so normal, we are asking this question. That means we are asking a lot. So then I call it, when should we ask this question? So in Ch.9, Rinpoche's commentary, he said, we should ask the question about emptiness somewhere here. Like the Chandakirtis said during the middle way, in this middle of the 6th chapter, when he start talking about the selflessness, then he also this great master Ch.9 Rinpoche is saying that we should ask this question when you feel, up to now I'm doing everything okay from my side. We're not talking about something from outside. I feel I'm doing so good, so well from my side, but always I start to do something, there's always wrong there. And then you will feel like counting these kind of mistakes. Sometimes when we count these mistakes, we feel like you feel lose hope, you feel stress, you feel hopeless, you feel there's anxiety. But now you really wanted to know that maybe there is something with the hope looking into this way of maybe I'm deluded, how I'm deluded. And then with the hope to look into this situation, it is a different way of searching the truth. So this kind of truth we are talking when we talk about ultimate truth. This is, I'm coming with my own kind of a theory, huh? So there could be like, I'm 100% wrong. Possibility is there. You don't just fly with me. Okay? Fasten your seatbelt. But maybe I am kind of giving you some kind of a little bit of different definition of the truth that we are talking about today. So therefore, I think it is necessary how you differentiate between the ultimate truth and then conventional truth. These two truths sounds kind of same, but seem different. The difference is how I just said, that truth way of finding is more to do with your something little bit of personal thing. So how you connect, like the great Chandakirti talked about how to look into the selflessness. And then he said, just try to think, where is this table? And just thinking like, oh, there's no table. And what I'm thinking about, not like way of this. It's more about putting yourself, all this suffering, it is a hope. All this suffering, I never asked for this. There's no like one day I prayed or hope with may there is suffering. But every time I started anything, but it somehow comes with some suffering. So that is something maybe where how I clinged is a problem. It's more like you bumped into a person on the subway, maybe he's angry with everybody, and you are taking this home, this personal feeling you got, you are taking back home like that person so, and then you make so many things from out of there, making big scene out from there. And then you could end up with so much suffering. But maybe the thing, the situation, how the reality is not like that. Maybe you are taking so much information on yourself. And then you are trying to think like, maybe all this information I'm adding on is because this is so much grasping to myself. And then look into the situation, how I'm grasping to the self. Then you clearly think it's not other than how I represent myself. That is like you feel like that is the great master, Lama Je Tsongkhapa. I think next time in wisdom, it will be great. There's another text by Lama Je Tsongkhapa. It's when I think it is right after the Manjushri gave like a guidance to Lama Je Tsongkhapa, saying he asked a difficult question, his own experience to Lama Je Tsongkhapa, and then Lama Je Tsongkhapa said, I couldn't understand that. And then Manjushri said, now this is the perfect time you go into the retreats. Okay, retreat. And when he was ready to do a retreat, then he was quite worried because he is already popular at that time. And then he said, well, I can go to retreat, no problem. But then I have lots of students who rely on me. And all these benefits to the others, what will happen then? And then Manjushri was very serious to him, saying, you don't worry about what is benefit or not. I decide what is the benefit or not. You do as what I told you. Go to the retreat. And he chose a few students to take with him into the retreats. I think during that time, he gave this teaching to his students. It is full of meditation, saying that you have to meditate with the posture and everything. And then he said, now let's try to find out where is this innate I. There you go. How does this innate I comes within you? And every student, and Lama Je Tsongkhapa himself, meditates on this innate I. But when you wait for innate I, it will not appear like this. It's so tricky. So then Lama Je Tsongkhapa pinpoint out, then we normally think the innate I is something like from this, the body, it is coming from Phumbul Teni,
From the aggregate.
from the 5 aggregates. No, it's not like this. It's normally when you just meditate on the how this innate I, then it will just come up like the word. It just Lama Je Tsongkhapa, I think he made it up because he couldn't bring up some kind of a word for this. He just said something like tel. It's more like it comes like this.
Spontaneously.
I think spontaneously, without thinking anything like this is through the 5 aggregates. It just come like this. Then Lama Je Tsongkhapa said, that's it. Did you get it? So this is the meditation there. This book is very interesting. It is one of the Sung Turbo
In the miscellaneous works of Lama
work of Lama Je Tsongkhapa,
the Sung Chen 가르치는
the 30.
the Lama Je Tsongkhapa's instruction on view.
One view.
It's called the
30.
30
Yeah. Yeah.
profound instruction on view.
And this is known by Kidu Rinpoche. 딱 가르치는 시고 어떤가 제일 좋아.
전담대 몇 걸려?
그래봐.
군주도 전담. 전담비.
전담. So yeah. So then now when you try to find this, not the I, we are trying to find the innate I. That's the big differences. 현지 같아. Many people are trying to find where is me. So that means you are trying to find this relative I, or the conventional I. That was better. The conventional I. Actually, we are not finding the conventional I. The problem isn't the conventional I at all. The problem is the innate I. That innate I approve you. When you are so angry, and then you don't feel anything. You feel that don't feel anything. Even you heat. Normally you feel, oh, my body is so precious, right? But anger comes out, and this innate I becomes so strong. Even you hit on somebody or on the wall, okay? Maybe in America, better to hit on the wall. It was wow. At the time, the amazing thing is you will never feel the pain. Then a few minutes later, when you cool down, and then you feel the pain. Why? Because you are so shut down from the feelings, from the everything. You are so focused on this inner eye. But the tricky, when it comes, when the anger comes up, you cannot hold to this because you are under the sway of the anger. But during the meditation, we were trying to find out, it's really hard. It's somewhere like it's sneaky, like it has somewhere else. But that is the meditation. That is the true meditation. When we try to take every down, then this is to find this inner eye. And then you will feel like there is no sort of this kind of inner eye. So it is not other than we feel truly existence of I, which is not dependent on anything, just solitary there. So from this way of thinking, then there is also the attachment comes. Like you feel like this so truly existent momo. Maybe today I wanted to eat a momo. I don't know why I said it. The momo, very juicy and very nice momo. And then you feel this in it, momo, the momo, which you feel so good, so nice. The truly existence of this momo is already there. Then automatically there will be it's difficult to translate this word. Yeah.
This is one we went over the other day. It's the improper thought, or the thoughts arriving from improperly, instead of you're thinking this way, but you're thinking the opposite way, or perceiving something opposite way, which driven by affliction.
But then if you like this so much, you try to exaggerate so much. That is the exaggeration or exaggerate. It will be there, 100% sure, because you are so grasped to this inner eye. Like if you are falling in love, and then you feel like this he or she is so beautiful, and then automatically exaggeration will be like, even there are so many other like handsome or beautiful people that you can attract towards, but this is the only one, isn't it? If I get her or get him, I will be the most happiest person. If not, I don't know, I will be the most sad person. This is how we do this. So it is so fixed. That only comes with because you're so fixed with this truly existence, this I. And what will this do right after this holding? Then you will see something. If there's a little bit beauty, you will make this beautiful. That's this much. And if it is like, if she has a nice voice or he has a beautiful voice, I don't know. And you will say, oh, so incredible, so good. Right? We do that. The exaggeration is there. Then after this, suffering starts. for sure, because you put so much on there, so much information, which is against the reality. So that's why it is here, it is says that now maybe the time is finished, my goodness, isn't it? We have more time or
15 minutes.
15 minutes? Okay. 어제장가 아니 제스치부 때 가서 때디 제스치부 쉬어라게 티 치는 동양다 시원되게 시럽게스체 다디 워데라 네 군좀단에 전담데 티네 대반이스 되스 다단다 전담된 바세티 전담된 바세티 다단다 그 대반이기 나로네 대바 당부디 꼴라고 저 계제시다 시가 지겨 봐 제장가다 오늘 덴트기 덴바디 당한수 렌트 집어sam시마도 덴바 탈도 거든 가지고 통구요 말에 단 덴바 오늘 돈이 가르랬어도잖아 아니 뭐비니 줄라 지마지신 디나신 매바 돈이 됐다 샘제 말에서 소수기고 말에 파바레스 파바 가르치는스나 파바라 아니 디 통약을 로 누가 치슈디 아니 당은 좀 냠샤 있어야 돼. 디도가 세지.
So, as Shantideva mentioned, those who intend to free themselves from the samsara, one must follow the wisdom. And so wisdom is divided into two, the relative and the ultimate. So we just talked about the relative wisdoms or the relative truth. Then the ultimate truth. And when you think about the ultimate truth, although we have some intellectual taste and understanding about the ultimate truth, but we cannot directly realize ultimate truth. So who sees or realizes the ultimate truth is the Aryas. So the Aryas who, through their unique wisdom, they're able to see the ultimate truth.
I think through doing a little research on the two truths, then you feel like for us it's so hard to understand what the ultimate truth is. Then we will try to find who really understands, which mind really understands the ultimate truth. It's not other than the Arya. And that means now you are kind of recognizing who the Arya is. Normally when we take a refuge, when we say Arya and Arhat, then we're just like, maybe there are some people called Arya or Buddha or someone. We don't feel connected. But now when we say person who can definitely say there is no so-called innate I or the truly existence of I like this, who has clearly seen this? This is not other than the who sees the emptiness directly, who have seen the selflessness directly. If you feel this kind of thing or this kind of a belief, this kind of a way of seeing exists, then I will take a refuge in that person. I will take a refuge in this way of looking. It becomes one of the best refuge. Otherwise, what we normally take a refuge is like when we do when we recite in the word refuge prayers, Sangye Shosoma, we do it like professional, nothing much here. Nothing much here. We just go do it. But no, this is the way how you connect.
So when Rinpoche mentioned the Nyamsha Yishi, the translation is the exalted wisdom of the meditative equipoise of the Aryas.
Okay.
이게 Nyamsha
Nyamsha
Yishi
Yishi.
단해절과
No, no, no,
양가지 규비.
no, meditative occupies 세들와.
Exalted wisdom of a
Exalted.
meditative equipoise of the Aryas. They can directly realize emptiness, or they can see ultimate truth. But
No, 군주탄에 전담대, 대 군주탄에 전담대, 되는 tempan이 수도스.
디마슬로 봐.
제
딜로사로.
딜로사르베, 딜로사르베. 딜로사는 지금도
샴
디타타
성부들로에 말.
딜로난 줄베. 로시나니.
Also, and then follows the third verse. In light of this, within the world, two kinds of people are observed: those with the yogic insight and the common ranks of people. In this regard, the views of the ordinary folk are undermined by yogis, who themselves are in the world.
Now it's in the monastery we have the definition of the true truth. Normally I don't agree much about this explanation of the definition, but it is good enough to play with the words. Play with words a little bit. When we the definition will be like what is the ultimate truth is we say something like
The exalted wisdom
you
of
say that, right? You familiar with that? Oh no, Objero. That doesn't give me anything. It's the same thing. And then we debate like. So so now we need to work together to present the definition of ultimate truth much more better. Okay, go ahead.
Could you talk about the definition of Dempa, of truth in Tibetan? Because when you asked us what truth was in English, I could only think of it in a relative way, as that it's the opposite of false, or it's a fact. And so that seemed like it was only dealing with relative conventional reality, and I couldn't apply it to the ultimate truth.
So the truth, when we put on the ultimate to be ultimate truth, that truth is not the way as we talked about. It shouldn't be kind of thing the same as when we on the reality or on the convention level when we try to say, I know the truth, or truth or dare. Not like that. So that truth mean is kind of the real identity. right?
The real nature of the phenomena, that's what they investigating the truth about.
On the reality level, we more talk about the conventional truth. It is more kind of thinking how things function.
The relative truth.
So then it totally makes sense. So it's saying in order to know how things function very clearly, then one should understand the real attentive of the phenomena. So that means in order to understand the conventional truth, one should understand ultimate truth. So that makes kind of sense to me. Right? Okay. So we stop here today. Oh, you have a question? Okay, go ahead.
So in the second verse, it says more or less that the ultimate truth is not within the reach of the dualistic mind or the intellect. I wonder if you could talk about how or why, because it seems like so much of what we do is by use of the dualistic mind or the intellect. We study so much emptiness using those things.
다 로이 주의 말했어야 돼. 계산 지라버에 배나 로세야게 된다디 컨디지간 시기 바스. 로세야 때 아주 셀싱 릭비 차지라 로스 지지 샤베이나. 아주 동기 로그 친일 디샤는 거 봐. 셀싱 릭비 차라 로스 샤도. 디셰베이나 셀싱 릭비 차디기 아니 통고구요래 초록고구요래 될 때니 모신고구요래 다 간지네. 다양 변은 지기 닝메숑도 차샤베나 로세의 문신디 제사디 세신 리그베 차라 문신 미세 나요 말에 뒤쪽에 가르친스나 아주기 로세의 디 아주 다 간지 추바 딘싱기 레베 갑기 아니 셰바텔라 로스 딘싱단 제베 로델라 아니 로스 리버스지 봐 송샤브레스 그 데피니션데 로가로르 마도지기 한 밥사지간을 그래서
We discussed about it the other day. So when we look at this like a mind, mind cannot comprehend emptiness and so on. First, we need to define what is mind or how we define mind. In generally speaking, the mind is defined as it has the clarity, also cognitive. So these are two the most important elements of the mind. And then through that, you see, you realize, and so on, or you identify things. And then in the Nyingma tradition, for example, it distinguishes between Lord the mind and the Rigpa. And in that, because law is more defined as a phenomena which is obscured by the self-grasping mind. The mind, the say conventional mind. So I prefer use the conventional mind for this purpose. So the conventional mind is something obscured by affliction or the self-grasping. Then the Rigpa, which is like a ultimate mind or whatever you call this, which is not obscured by self-grasping. So here you can see the distinguish between the conventional mind and the Rigpa, or the some say like a pristine mind or so on. So first see the differences.
So it is not sometimes in the text of the great Indian masters, how they say this in a Sanskrit or the Pali, how they wrote that, and then sometimes the translator brings on the maybe sometimes maybe could say Rigpa, sometimes could say law, so it can be a little confusing. So and normally when we study the mental factors, and then it's the same thing, right? But then some great masters, like especially in Nyingma tradition, some Lama make a differentiate because they wanted to represent something what they have realized. And then they kind of say, this is called law and this is called Rigpa. So then there's no debate at all, actually. The definition changes. That's all. The real essence is not going to change. So the debate within the four schools, not every time, sometimes the debate is on this sort of thing. So like the same word, but the meaning is different. And then we just go like, we don't say like that. You guys say like this. But the meaning is same, that we don't say that in the time of the meditative occupies, that person has this mind is diluted. So that time you say that even the person has the clarity, the self clear and cognitive,
right?
knowing, the knowing. Is there. There's no debate on that. And then we can also, there is report lo sinyi marbe.
No.
Report lo sinyi marbe. Karsha lo session report lo sinyi. Report di kanre. What is the definition of the report? It kind of, huh? Oh yeah, that is the yeah. So kata. So it says like morally already not diluted from the beginning. They talk about
pure
this.
from the
pure from
beginning.
So also in Tantra we talk about this, right? So, but on the sutra level, we are trying to present in the we say the Rigpa is not other than the Rigpa Tsinyi the Nambyuchi you are quite the So anyway, Session Rigpa de Loi Xinxie, Rigpa de Karshasha. I will check it. It's already the Jew to him is this in you, but you Rigpa. Do dance. Rigpa no, you not law. Then I don't know. So here it says no, you know law. So the appearance that's Karsuda. This I've never heard of this, but anyway, Chesanga Rigpa Senator, Law Senator, the Zutamalo Joba Yongsegi that shit over there. Tajikasore. Tabanj machine goes go to Sabre. Tataji Japsa, Takonzo go to I think we already know what I wanted to say, so I don't want to confuse you anymore. Okay. Tadirisha.
That's what.
No. Okay. Don't but this. Today we didn't do much question and answer. Maybe tomorrow we will have a more question and answer. So yeah.
Rinpoche. So we will do the long life prayer first, starting on page 14 of the general text. Om Swasti, may all be auspicious. O charming lady of 7 eyes, supreme mother of the triumphant, exceptional deity skilled in bringing a great rain to fall of the actual attainments of deathless long life, positive potential, and deep awareness, please grant here and now the utmost in fulfilling the aims of my prayers. By the force of your matchless dedicated heart to uphold the teachings, may you live a long life to further the essence of the deep and extensive guidelines that the able one taught, as a Lord wielding power over the ocean of reason and speech, as a lamp for the teachings of the excellent-minded. For the sake of leading to a state of peerless enduring bliss, all wandering beings oppressed through bondage to their compulsions and disturbing minds, may you live a long life fulfilling all infinite hopes through the extensive deeds of your stainless 3 enigmatic gates. May your dedicated heart once more reach out to strive in serving the triumphant one's teachings through your 3 pure realms. I request you long to remain as a guiding light for wandering beings in accord with your will in the lands of disciples in every direction. By the power of the inspiration from the hosts of lamas, deities, and protectors, by the force of the truth of the non-fallacious dependent arising, by the strength of regard from the exceptional resolve of myself and others, may all the aims of my prayers be exactly and fully fulfilled. And the dedication prayers in the following page. Having thoroughly investigated in accord with all that I have heard day and night through the 4 reasonings, mind born of reflection on these topics of contemplation, may this discernment sever all doubts. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Chenrezig Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma, and by completing the qualities of the grounds and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. I fully dedicate all these virtues to be able to train just like the hero Manjushri, who knows reality well, and just like Samantabhadra as well. I fully dedicate all my roots of virtue with the dedication praised as the best by all the gone beyond victorious ones of the 3 times in order to have good conduct. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. And for the swift return of Lama Je Rinpoche. Fearless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pracheka Buddhas, victorious Losang, father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings, through explanation and practice, you are the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and from other living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss! Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the 3 jewels and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples.
Thank you.